I haven't spoken about America too much lately. I had a period where I was because the politics is outrageous. I shared my opinion on a lot of things, and I was actively pursuing different directions because I don't want to keep going there. But then things just keep resurfacing, and you can't help but just look at the world as a whole and look at America's impact on it and their dominance and the way they just want to orchestrate everything to become this just powerhouse, this global empire, really. But at the same time, it looks like they're trying to close their borders. That's how it's looked to me. It's been looking like that for a while, for the past few weeks at least, where they make it hard for people to come in, but as a consequence of that, you can't help but look further forward and think they're probably going to make it hard for people to get out. So effectively, it's like ethnic cleansing. That's what it looks like to me. Whether it's that heavy, I don't know, but that's what it's looking like to me. You know, you don't want people coming in, so you're trying to keep your nation as one. But then that means, by extension, surely you're going to be terrified of people leaving because there's people that are saying they don't want to be there anymore. Now, the way it is that a lot of people you had a natural attraction to America around the world. You know, I at least want to visit at some point. I've been there twice. I had plans potentially to go there again in the future. But I'm going to be absolutely transparent right now. There's no way on earth, literally no way, 100%, while Donald Trump is in office, that I would ever even attempt to step foot in America. So you could offer me millions and millions of pounds. It's not going to get me on a plane to America. It could be a love of a lifetime, but I'll have to wait. I'm not going over to America. It's just, that's it. You know, I'm a very stubborn person, but there's no way on earth I would. It's it's the same way I am with certain countries around the world. I just have zero interest in going there. They may be nice. Their architecture might be nice. They might have the people themselves could be friendly. But when it's a tyrannical empire, a dictatorship, there's no way I would go anywhere where your human rights are violated. It's just not going to happen. It comes with too high a risk. You don't have your freedom, and to me, freedom is everything. America is becoming this authoritarian state where freedom is suppressed, especially for foreign nationals, but even to their own people. And I think that's quite harmful. It's not a good place to be, is it? So effectively, if you was going there, they check your phones, your devices, and everything, just to see if there's anything on there that maybe you've said things you shouldn't have said. They don't like it. It's not like it's really like from a national security threat. It's really just if you've said anything that's negative towards politicians or anybody, you know, it's not a threat. It's more the fact that you don't have the same ideals as them. So they're really trying to force a narrative. And if you don't agree with what they're saying, it's crazy. Just to go off topic, to become a US national, for instance, even if you want to be a dual citizen, you have to swear an oath of allegiance. You literally have to renounce your own nationality. And I think that's absolutely mental. Surely you can sort of be ordained into one, whatever you want to call it, without having to renounce something. I don't know if other countries do that shit, but I find it out mental. Like I know it's detracting a little bit, but this is just the level of America. America just postures itself as the top of the pyramid. If you talk about pyramid, they think they're at the top, and most of the world just don't see it at all. Like for instance, Emily Blunt, the actress, I think her name's Emily Blunt. She was just talking. Now there may be jest to it, but I've seen people getting sworn in as well, and she had to denounce her allegiance to the Queen. But the people were saying to her, "Don't worry, it doesn't mean anything. You just got to say the words. You don't have, you know, you can still love the Queen, and you can still." And it's like, yeah, why that's the part that bothered me. If ever like timeline moved a decade, Trump's out of office a long time ago. He gets impeached for the shit he's done. The people around him, his aides, they get done for what he's done. There's a period in time where they cause so much instability, but they will justice catches up. So they might seem like they got free reign now, just like what happened to Trump last time. He will be held accountable in the future, and the people that supported him along the way, they'll be held accountable. But right now, it's quite a chaotic period of life. So I just thought that myself. Like if one day your path aligned and it went in that direction, and you was to get a citizenship, I'm not renouncing my country. That's ridiculous. That needs to change. That's outrageous. It's like, no, I'm not doing that. So I couldn't be a citizen of America anyway, because I would refuse to denounce my country. My morals are too high. You know, I won't even do TikTok shop. I literally did a few videos. I'm not going to go too far off here because this is more about that. But I did a few videos a long time ago, about a year ago or so, because I bought a couple of items. I just shared them. I went on my TikTok yesterday just to have a look, and I had £10 sitting there like to redeem. I redeemed it. I cashed it out, like a payout. I thought, where the hell's this come from? It must have been come from those videos where I just didn't even pay an interest. So that shows me that if you put a lot of effort in, you can make an awful lot of money, because that's £10 from doing absolutely nothing. Actually, even that I won't do. I refuse to fleece people. I'm not interested. So yeah, my morals are higher. I refuse to do things like that. Like, for instance, I'm entitled to Irish citizenship, so I can get a dual national passport. I won't have to denounce England. You know, America's a strange place. It really is. And what I found with Americans, not every American, again, we stereotype people, but it's just that sometimes you really, really see it. There's a lot of egos. They want to be the best. They love this dominance. It's a really weird thing. And I see it in comments on other people's videos, and I see it everywhere. And I always think it's crazy. They always flex. You know, if someone says we're going to defend this, they go, "Oh, who are you?" Like we're the bit. It's like we're always the big boss, and they're like proud of being the bully. And I always find that quite crazy. And often what they do, they posture to feel strong, not even recognizing, not even give it like the other countries and nations are strong. And if they band together, America is minimal. America's dominance really comes from the fact from their diplomacy and their strategic positions around the world. They have like military bases strategically positioned. If all of those got decommissioned, they got pushed out of the country, America would be very isolated. I've said that before. It's its own continent. It's literally water barriered everywhere. There's a massive ocean either side. You've got the Atlantic and the Pacific, and it's not that easy for them to relocate everything. So if they had to do an invasion somewhere, they would find it really hard, because they would come under attack in the middle of the ocean. How do you can't just freely, you can't just, I mean, that's why Japan attacked them before, because they could see the ocean was the best way to get them. It was to catch them by surprise. Of course, America's technology is far advanced now, but it's because they got strategic positions around the world. You know, the European nations are very, very fortunate, because literally you come as one, and you're very strategically placed, so you can get anywhere easily. So I think the idea that America could just like strong arm everybody and everybody just like toes the line. I think this Greenland incident is becoming a huge focus. Because I'm seeing reports that France would stand up for Greenland, and I hope the UK would as well. But I think wars are terrible, but you have to fight for freedom. And I think there has to be a point where nations stand together. America on its own against a force as Europe, it doesn't mean it's very naive to think America just wins. And they close a lot of ties off, because I would argue that European nations have far friendlier connections around the world than America does. If America lost its European allies, I don't know who would align with America. And America can act like they've got everything together. We don't need anyone else. That's not how the world works. You need trade. And they're already closing off ties with their closest ally. I mean, Canada just switched off completely to them now. They're saying, look, we're done with them. We can't trust this administration. And I don't think anyone around the world can. I think they just appease them just to try and get along. It's like a bully in the playground, you know. You try to just act like your friends, really just waiting for that period to finish so you can be ready for the next administration. That's what it is. If you was in politics, that's what all you'd be doing, is trying to appease Trump a little bit to see, don't throw a hissy fit, and then hope you can still have a connection with America by the time the next presidency comes in. That's crazy, isn't it? But he's doing a lot of damage in a very quick succession. And I can see over the next, if he stays in term the whole way through, I don't know how American politics works. I don't know if they can have a vote of no confidence and push him out. I don't know if that's a possible thing. But, you know, I think it's outrageous. And I think that Vance, his vice president's even worse than him. He seems like an idiot that's just hyped up on excitement. You know, he just likes the power. Crazy people. They're all little mini Hitlers. It's crazy. So me saying all this, I can't get into America if I tried, because they've already said, you know, they check things. And if you say anything, I'm saying it clear as day. Trump can kiss my ass. I don't want to go into America right now. I wouldn't want to go anywhere near him. I wouldn't want to go anywhere where he has any sort of influence and power. It's not going to happen. Don't want to. I wouldn't get on a plane to America if you paid me like millions. You could offer me a massive life-changing contract. I'm all right where I am. I'm all right. I don't need all that. Thank you very much. I always say that. If you're not happy, money isn't going to solve your problem. So me going somewhere where you lose all your human rights, your freedoms, your privilege, and then someone gives you money for doing so, it's like, what a sellout. I'm not a sellout. Couldn't do it. I'm going to show a couple of examples now. I wasn't going to use any video clips, but But I think it just gives you maybe a little bit of an insight really into America at the moment. Now, this isn't massive clips and it's not like everything I could possibly show. But for love or money, I wouldn't go into America. So even if a romance was to blossom and it required me going there, it's going to have to wait. If someone was to offer me a big contract based on my books, based on the content I do, whatever it is, there's a conference, there's a chance to speak, there's a chance to be, it ain't going to happen while he's in office. I'm not going there. It has to be somewhere else. There's no way on earth you're not going to get me on a plane to America or a boat, submarine. It's just that you're not going to get me over there. It's not all that it's pointed out to be. Just to point it out a little bit, I saw this speech by Vance, and it made me laugh. I didn't actually see it. I think I saw the context of it. I can't read about the guy. I think he's an idiot. I think he's punching way above his pay grade, and he's going to look really stupid soon enough. I think people are going to put him in his place, and I think sometimes what you do, you let the bullies keep talking, let them bury themselves, and then they have to sort of like stutter and go back on what they said sometimes because they talk out their arse. He's one of those guys, and he was saying about. Again, I didn't read it, so I'm not saying it verbatim. But he said about like what Denmark are not doing right by Greenland or something. They're not looking after their people. And I thought, what, the Trump administration is looking after their people? You people are laughable. It just makes me laugh because on the outside, they always try to act like they've got the solution. It's like you've got like poverty in your own country. You've got so much homelessness. There's drugs on the streets. You go certain sections. I think they call it Skid Row in California. You got places where there's like mansions and it's like this is and Hollywood and you think, oh, this is so beautiful. That's the dream. That's what you get sold. And apparently, I haven't been there. I've been Florida. I haven't been to California. But then it's not that far off where you just start finding like Skid Row where everyone's just doing drugs and there's homelessness and there's crime. And apparently, there's certain parts of, especially New York and California. Now, I'm sure there's other states and other cities where you go down certain roads and it's dangerous, especially at night. Like there's constant police sirens, there's constant homicides and all this stuff. And then you've got a president and his vice president act like they know what they're talking about. They're doing the best for their people. And you've got a place that's like, it's archaic. You know, there was something recently, like these little things. It's infrastructure. America's infrastructure's shit. Without being rude, like let's be point blank here. You've got power lines that literally run across the road, like go by the side of the road. There was this van that hit this wooden power line. It brought the whole power line down. It's like, who has that this day and age? And then people were commenting in this video and they were saying in Europe, we don't have that. Ours is underground now, as is the UK. High voltage power lines still go across, yeah. And they're very high up. You couldn't possibly tamper with them. And literally, it's like a metal steel frame. It goes all the way up. Not these stupid little wooden pillars. If we have wooden pillars by the side of the road, that's telecoms. That's just the phone lines. America literally has power lines running along its freaking roads and like held up by pieces of wood. It's like this, and they think they're state of the art. Maybe a military state of the art, but they've neglected the rest of the infrastructure around the country. It's crazy to me. And then they act like, because Americans they're not very good with geography. They're not good with geopolitics. They're not good with things around the world. They're only interested in the propaganda that gets spewed to them in their own country. For the most part, there's some intelligent Americans, of course, but for the most part, dumb as rocks. It's crazy to me. So they think everything they have is state of the art. It's groundbreaking. Let me just talk about the UK, for instance. I can transfer money straight immediately from my banking app on my phone. I can transfer that money straight to another bank account, any of my bank accounts, and it's there instantly. Like, I can send money to someone else's bank account. It's there immediately. There's no hesitation. There's no delay. It's not like it doesn't take 5 minutes. It doesn't take an hour. It doesn't take days. There's no fee involved. America, it takes ages to do transfers, and I think there's admin fees on top. Little things like that. We can literally pay by our debit card. Literally, all we do is just tap the card reader. We don't have to put a PIN code in or anything. We just tap the card reader. Immediately, the payment's been made. These are little things we have that we take for granted. It's only when you go over to America you realise, wait a minute, they don't have half this shit. This is quite crazy to me. And then you've got the tipping culture. I don't want to go too far into it. I'm just trying to show that Americans think that they have absolutely everything. They are like the highest technologically advanced country in the world. And they have the biggest infrastructure and everything else is beneath them. And it's like, you're really not. You're so far behind because all your government has ever cared about is hemorrhaging money out of you. So everything's about suing people. Everything's about pharmaceuticals. So we're literally going to just like freaking burden you to death with money. Everything's going to cost you. You're going to have to pay to live. That's how America is. You better pay out your ass. You can't afford to be poor. And we're going to sort of like, we're going to instead of invested in, you know, sorting out the homeless, the poverty, the drug situation. Let's make America thrive. Let's care about our people. Let's make people wealthy. Let's make this a really wealthy land, a land of opportunity. Instead of that money, we're going to keep advancing our military. If all these countries didn't keep advancing their military, the world could be more peaceful, and literally the economy can thrive and people can thrive. But everybody's just warmongering. They warmonger because they want to make people scared, so you become subservient. Anyway, these are dictators, by the way, and some people just get fooled by propaganda. And it's not just in America; that happens in other countries too, because people don't expand their mind. So yeah, me going to America is not going to happen. They won't want me. I don't want them. That's just being transparent as hell. Let's just keep that there. Let's keep it real. Right, so I'm going to do this now. I'm hopeful it comes through. So this guy's like, he just mocks Trump. And I love it when Americans mock their own. And it's just the way he talks, because you could believe it. There's some things he's done. I might better get a different one. But he always makes me laugh, you know.
Because it's so real. It's true. And by the way, they're saying the bridges are falling down. It's such a shame what they're doing to the bridges. And we're renaming London to America Square. Wow. Wow, what a very big Ferris wheel. It's so big, so lovely. I love China. We love China.
Because it's so real the way he talks. That's how Trump talks. Some people think he has intelligence because they just want to believe the shit that comes out of his mouth. It's absolute shit. And how the hell he has so much power around the world right now is absolutely frightening. You've literally got a toddler in control of a very, very powerful nation. And I find that, yeah, that's scary in itself, isn't it? Let's see if I find another one, because I do find these videos hilarious. Trump buys
Wow, Elon, and which one is that one? What is that one?
Model Y, $35,000 a year, very cheap.
Wow, that's incredible. So cheap, so affordable. And you know, you have some people, they don't like the Teslas, they don't like Elon, and they're vandalizing them. What a shame, because Elon's a good friend of mine, and if you vandalize the Teslas, you will be labeled a terror, and you will be sent to Guantanamo. Because you can't beat these deals with the Teslas. You can't, because they have the Model X. It's $108,000. You can't beat that. And they have this one, I don't know what it is, but $299 a month. Wow. That's so affordable and cheap. And you can get the, what is it? The driving self mode?
Full self-driving.
Wow. And it's so and the car, it drives itself. I mean, you can drive it right off the lot today. It drives itself off the lot. You can't beat these deals, really. These deals are
just so
steals
ridiculous.
on wheels.
Yeah.
Wow, this is incredible. And they drive and they run over people. Is that right?
No, sir. They don't run over people. No.
Incredible. That is amazing. If you're mean to Elon, you're mean to me, because he's my friend, and you'll go to jail.
It's frightening, isn't it? Because if these weren't impressions of real people and it was just a skit, you would naturally think these people are thick. When you'd say they're stupid, they're dumb. So it's quite frightening that they are literally exact impressions of very powerful, influential people right now. Like Trump has his influence because Elon has his influence because, of course, he's pulling an awful lot of strings. At the moment in very powerful positions, but of course, he has Twitter. I'm not calling it X. X is shit. What a stupid name. The guy's a clown. But sometimes you've got people with money who really, they just got nothing else to do with it, so they just become tyrants. It's quite crazy to me. But anyway, Jesus, you know what I mean? They literally check everything. They literally now check everything when you arrive. And they don't necessarily just deport you back to your country if they don't like you. Sometimes they're detaining people. And I'm going to share an example in a moment of that. That's crazy, isn't it? Literally, you're in fear of being detained now and being sent to sort of like prison camp or something for like 2 weeks or so while they, I don't know why they do what they interrogate. I don't know what they're doing. But think about that. You get put in a situation you didn't plan for, and you still have your responsibilities at home. So who accounts for that? If you're detained for an extended period, you've still got your home to go back to. Your bills are not getting paid. What, you're going to be evicted by the time you return? Who can you sue them for that? Because you should be able to sue them. And America's a suing culture, so you should be able to, shouldn't you? Sue the president. That'd be fun. So this guy's really, really good with immigration law. I've been seeing him for a long time. He explains what visas to apply for. So whether you're just coming on a business trip, let's say you're dealing with a contract. It's not a job, but it's a business trip. There's a business visa, which is similar to the tourist one, but you just have to declare it. There's ones if you're going to get married, maybe you're going to have a fiance visa. All these things. He's very good at explaining all that. And I've always found him quite incredible, to be totally honest. But even in the comment over here, it says America's collapsing in front of our eyes, and it truly is. So now Trump is going after these immigration lawyers to try to stop them from doing their job so that people don't have any information on what their rights are. It's crazy, isn't it?
Issued an executive order against immigration lawyers, directing the Attorney General to investigate and sanction immigration lawyers for fraud and meritless claims. Why is he doing this? To scare the hell out of us. Because when immigrants don't have lawyers, immigrants get deported. First, judges who are blocking his executive orders, now attorneys who are defending immigrants against policies that could potentially be unconstitutional. The reason immigration cases are in court are because sometimes the government makes mistakes, and sometimes the government unjustly denies somebody a benefit that they're entitled to. And under the U.S. Constitution, you're allowed to dispute what the government is doing. So Donald Trump...
It's crazy, isn't it? They're just tyrants. Right, so this is in Greenland. I think I've got a couple of videos on this. I'm trying to do not the music. But yeah, literally they're protesting against America. They don't even want America there. And yet America's acting like we're coming in to save you. So the people there don't want you. Just stay in your own country and leave the rest of the world alone. It'd be a good start. That'd be good for everybody then. And if you could literally focus on your own country, then you literally could start helping the people thrive rather than keep trying to be tyrants around the world. That'd be good. Because at the moment, America's isolating itself, and they're going to have no allies eventually. Because first of all, you try to appease them as your closest ally, and then they all band together. So I can see, with the way Trump's behaving, I can see, like, if you're going to talk about America's closest allies, let's say like Australia. If we're talking about English-speaking countries, I think it's just easier to say it that way. But anyway, let's say UK, Canada, Australia. Of course, they have other countries they're affiliated with. I think they have an on and off relationship with France, to be totally honest. But anyway, let's say UK, Canada, and Australia. Well, they can be close ties to themselves. They don't need America to be a friend as well. You know, you can literally do that and then be friends with Australia, Europe, the rest of Europe, of course, and then other countries that align with a very similar culture. Really, I don't know. I mean, obviously, different continents have their own cultures, and that's just the way people are. You know, but overall, America finds itself on a very very different continent to what the rest of them are. Like, I wouldn't say South America, for instance, their values, their culture, their way of life is similar in a way to America. So America is very isolated in itself. I just find it crazy that the way they behave. It's like they're just pushing themselves away from everybody. Does it look to me like they want America's influence? So who would have thought? People have it in their head, especially Americans, that everybody wants to be part of their empire. They would love to have a green card. They would love to have access. If Greenland was to be merged with America, they would have access to America. They could actually potentially, as citizens, they'd be able to relocate into in the US mainland. They don't even want to. There's this ideology that everybody wants to get to America. We really don't give a shit. In all honesty, we don't care. You know, if America had similar values to the rest of the world, you know, to other diplomatic countries, then yeah, fine. There's new culture to explore. There's new opportunities to have in the same way it is for Americans to come to Europe. But we're fine never visiting again. We're fine with that. I am.
Not welcome to Greenland and his administration because he wants to buy us. I am a human. Humans are not for sale.
JD Exactly. This JD Vance, this guy's corrupt. I swear he has mascara and shit eyeliner. He's crazy. Now this one, I think this one was from Canada where she got detained. She literally didn't get deported. She actually got detained and got put in one of those camps, immigration camps. Even though all she was doing was coming over. I think she's a Canadian that was trying to come over from the Mexican side. So rather than just send her back to Canada, for instance, what you should naturally do, or just refuse entry, instead they detained her in one of those camps, and it's quite for me that's quite crazy. What an escalation of a situation! It was just that made no sense at all, and that's what America's becoming. It's trying to scare people from coming. I wouldn't say like I'm scared from traveling there. I just refuse to go somewhere where my human rights are violated. So the fact that they can take your phone off you, and then it's like, what are you doing with that? I don't trust you an inch. Like, what are you going to do with my phone? Are you going to put something on there that's compromising that was never there to begin with, and now you're going to set me up? You know, that's what all the thing is. It's like, I don't trust America at all. Like at this point, from the top to the bottom. So yeah, I just think they're crossing boundaries that shouldn't be crossed. So you're going to find, I think America wants this, where people just don't want to visit anymore, and you know, it's just obviously part of their tactic for whatever their main goal is. And I just think personally they're closing their borders.
A woman who was detained in the U.S. and held behind bars for nearly 2 weeks for a visa issue is now back at home.
I can't even process what just happened because there was no heads up. Next thing you know, I'm taken and for 2 weeks haven't been told anything, moved in different cells, sleeping on cement, sleeping in different jail cells. Like it just, nothing makes sense to me, and I'm still trying to process the entire situation.
Jasmine Mooney, a Vancouver entrepreneur, touched down at YVR shortly after midnight Saturday morning. Mooney was detained at the U.S.-Mexico border on March 3rd. The 35-year-old says she had a previous U.S. visa canceled, but did not think she'd have an issue when applying for another visa with a new job. A statement from U.S. Immigration and Customs last week said she was processed in accordance with President Trump's executive order that subjected all aliens in violation of U.S. immigration law to possible arrest.
Trump's executive order. Trump. Yeah. He ain't going to go down in history in the way he wants to, because he's someone that just really wants everyone just to pander to him and sort of adore him. That's how he expects to be, and yeah, I think he's going to go down in history as a tyrant, to be totally honest. So yeah, can I go to America? Not right now. Would I want to? No, not a chance in hell. I consider America hell right now.